The ultimatum. Dr. Sarah Chen stood frozen before the massive holographic display at the Global Space Communications Array in Chile, her coffee mug suspended halfway to her lips. The signal patterns dancing across the screen defied everything she knew about natural cosmic phenomena. After 15 years of searching the stars for signs of intelligent life, she was staring at what could only be an artificial transmission. "Marcus, are you seeing this?" She called out to her colleague, her voice barely above a whisper. "The signal structure, it's perfectly ordered." Dr. Marcus Okonjo looked up from his terminal, his eyes widening as he took in the display. "Running it through the quantum decoder now," he said, his fingers flying across the holographic interface. "Whatever this is, it's using some kind of crystalline-based data structure I've never seen before." The message took 3 days to decode. 3 days that changed everything humanity thought they knew about their place in the universe. When the translation matrix finally aligned, the message was broadcast simultaneously to every communications device on Earth. "People of Terra, your civilization has been monitored since your first radio transmissions reached beyond your atmosphere. You have now reached the prerequisite technological threshold. The Vicari Imperium claims your system as a resource world under Article 7 of the Galactic Concordat. You have 30 solar cycles to prepare your first tribute payment. 40% of all rare Earth elements mined within your system, 25% of your biological resources, and 100,000 of your population for cultural integration and labor distribution." The message continued with precise coordinates for delivery and specifications for the tribute. It ended with a simple warning. Non-compliance will result in immediate disciplinary action. The Imperium's decision is final. In the chaos that followed, the United Earth Defense Council convened an emergency session in their underground chambers beneath Geneva. Representatives from every nation sat in concentric circles around the central podium, their faces illuminated by the soft blue glow of data screens. General Elena Santos, Supreme Commander of Earth's combined military forces, stood at the center of the chamber. Her weathered face bore the look of someone who had spent decades preparing for a moment she hoped would never come. "The Vicari transmission contains more than just demands," she began, her voice steady. "Our quantum analysis teams have extracted terabytes of encrypted data embedded within the signal. They weren't just sending us a message, they were showing off their technological superiority. Or at least, what they believed to be their superiority." She gestured, and a holographic display materialized above the chamber. "This is their weapons technology, their shield systems, their FTL drive signatures, all of it hidden in plain sight, meant to intimidate us into submission. But they made a crucial mistake." The display shifted, showing complex mathematical models. "Their technology is incredibly advanced, yes, but it's also stagnant. The basic principles haven't changed in what we estimate to be thousands of years. They've stopped innovating, stopped evolving. They rely on overwhelming force rather than tactical adaptation." Dr. Chen, invited to the session as the lead scientist who detected the signal, stood up. "There's something else," she said, her voice carrying across the chamber. "The signal contains reference to other resource worlds. We've identified at least 30 other civilizations that have been subjugated by the Imperium. Some have been paying tribute for centuries." The chamber erupted in murmurs. General Santos raised her hand for silence. "Ladies and gentlemen, we face a choice. We can submit, become another resource world, watch our people and our planet's resources be stripped away piece by piece, or we can do what humanity has always done when faced with overwhelming odds. We can innovate, adapt, and fight back." She pressed a button, and new images appeared. Designs for weapon systems, shield configurations, and spacecraft that looked nothing like the Vicari technology. For the past decade, the Defense Council has been quietly preparing for a scenario like this. Project Phoenix, a complete reinvention of warfare using quantum mechanics and artificial intelligence in ways the Vicari haven't imagined possible. The images shifted to show massive underground facilities. "We have manufacturing centers built into every major mountain range on Earth. We have asteroid mining operations that haven't been detected because we use quantum tunneling instead of conventional propulsion. We have ships that can be grown using crystalline matrices in a matter of days instead of years. Dr. Okonjo, who had been analyzing the Valkyrie data nonstop since its arrival, stood up next. Their shield systems are based on conventional energy deflection, but our quantum phase weapons would bypass them completely. They wouldn't even register the attack until it was too late. General Santos' eyes swept the chamber. We have 30 days before they expect their tribute. That's 30 days to prepare our defense, 30 days to show them that humanity will not bow to threats or intimidation. But this decision must be unanimous. We either stand together or we fall together. The Chinese representative spoke first. The People's Republic has already begun converting our semiconductor facilities to quantum weapon production. We stand with Earth. One by one, the other nations declared their support. The vote was unanimous. As the session concluded, Dr. Chen approached General Santos. Even with everything we've prepared, they have thousands of years of technological advancement on their side. The odds. Santos cut her off with a smile. Dr. Chen, humanity's greatest achievements have always come when the odds were against us. The Valkyrie expect us to be like every other world they've conquered, terrified into submission by their power. Instead, they're going to learn why you should never corner a species that went from horse-drawn carriages to walking on the moon in less than 70 years. In the days that followed, Earth underwent a transformation unprecedented in human history. Hidden facilities emerged from mountain ranges and ocean depths. Orbital construction platforms, cloaked by quantum fields, began assembling the first ships of Earth's defense fleet. Every scientist, engineer, and soldier worked around the clock, preparing for what was to come. 29 days after the message arrived, Earth sent its response to the Valkyrie Imperium. It was short, encoded in their own crystalline data structure, and contained just 3 words: "Come and take." The message was followed by a quantum burst that overloaded and destroyed every monitoring probe the Valkyrie had hidden in the solar system. For the first time in centuries, the Imperium faced something they hadn't encountered before, a species that refused to be prey. In high orbit above Earth, General Santos watched as the first wave of Earth's quantum ships emerged from their crystalline wombs. They were beautiful in their own way, sleek vessels that seemed to shift between states of matter, their hulls incorporating living crystal that could adapt and heal. "Status report," she called out to the command center. "All defense grids are online." Dr. Chen replied from her station. "Quantum shield network is at full power. The first fleet is ready for deployment." Santos nodded, her eyes fixed on the stars where she knew the Valkyrie would soon appear. Humanity had been given a choice between submission and extinction. Instead, they had chosen a third option: revolution. The galaxy was about to learn that the age of empires was over. The war for Earth's freedom was about to begin. Operation Firewall. Deep beneath the Himalayas, in a facility known only as the Forge, Dr. Marcus Okonjo stood before a massive crystalline structure that pulsed with an inner light. The quantum forge represented humanity's greatest technological leap since the discovery of fire. The ability to manipulate matter at its most fundamental level. Integration Test 17. He announced to his team of quantum engineers, initiating crystal matrix growth sequence. The air hummed with energy as streams of quantum-entangled particles flowed into the forge. Within the crystalline chamber, matter began to reorganize itself, atoms dancing to the commands of human consciousness. In less than an hour, what emerged was a ship's neural core, a living computer that could process information faster than any conventional system. "Neural pathway verification complete," called out Dr. Maya Patel, the team's biotechnology expert. "Quantum coherence at 99.8%. This is our best result yet." Marcus allowed himself a small smile. In just 3 weeks, they had achieved what the Valkyrie took centuries to develop. But they hadn't just copied alien technology. They had revolutionized it. Across the globe, In similar facilities, hidden beneath mountains and oceans, humanity's war machine was taking shape. But this was unlike any arms race in human history. Instead of building bigger weapons, they were building smarter ones. General Santos's voice came through the quantum comm system. Dr. Okonjo, status report. The neural cores are exceeding expectations, General, Marcus replied. We can now grow a fully functional battleship in 72 hours. Each vessel's artificial intelligence is capable of making combat decisions 1,000 times faster than any organic pilot. And the integration with human consciousness. Dr. Chen's team has perfected the quantum interface. Our pilots can connect directly with their ships, experiencing them as extensions of their own bodies. The neural link gives them reaction times that should be physically impossible. In orbit above Earth, Sarah Chen floated in zero gravity within the testing chamber of humanity's first quantum dreadnought, the Prometheus. Her mind was connected to the ship through the quantum interface, every system an extension of her consciousness. Beginning maneuver test, she announced, though speaking wasn't necessary. Her thoughts flowed directly into the ship's communications network. The massive vessel moved with impossible grace, performing combat maneuvers that would have torn a conventional ship apart. The crystalline hull flowed like liquid metal, adapting its shape to minimize stress and maximize performance. The Valkyrie won't know what hit them, Sarah thought, and the ship's AI responded with a surge of agreement through their shared neural network. But humanity wasn't just preparing for space combat. In the depths of the Pacific Ocean, another aspect of Operation Firewall was taking shape. Commander Kai Nakamura stood on the observation deck of the underwater facility, designated Deep Shield. Below him, massive quantum generators were coming online, their energy forming an invisible web that would envelop the entire planet. Power distribution at optimal levels, reported Lieutenant Sofia Rodriguez. The quantum shield network can now withstand energy levels far beyond anything we detected in the Valkyrie transmission. Kai nodded, watching as simulated weapons fire was absorbed and redirected by the planetary shield. They'll expect us to have conventional defenses, energy shields, point defense systems. But this, he gestured at the quantum field generators. This turns their own weapons against them. In Geneva, General Santos received updates from facilities around the world. Humanity's preparation for war had unified the planet in ways no peace treaty ever could. Old rivalries were set aside as nations pooled their resources and knowledge. General, a young lieutenant called out, we're detecting quantum fluctuations at the edge of the solar system. The Valkyrie probe destruction got their attention. They're coming earlier than expected. Santos straightened her uniform. How many ships? Initial readings suggest a scout force. 3 capital ships, dozen support vessels. She smiled grimly. They're testing us, sending a small force to see if we'll break and submit. She opened a channel to all Earth defense facilities. This is General Santos. Operation Firewall is now active. All units to battle stations. In the forge, Marcus watched as the latest batch of quantum ships emerged from their growth chambers. They were smaller than Valkyrie vessels, but packed with innovations their enemies couldn't imagine. Each ship was equipped with quantum weaponry that could bypass conventional shields, neural cores that could outthink any computer, and crystalline hulls that could adapt to damage in real time. You know, Maya said, standing beside him, the Valkyrie made a fundamental mistake in their approach to conquest. Oh, Marcus raised an eyebrow. They assumed that overwhelming force was the key to victory. But humanity. She gestured at the quantum ships. We've always known that the real power lies in innovation, in finding new ways to solve problems. Above them, Sarah Chen guided the Prometheus into formation with Earth's first defense fleet. Each ship was crewed by pilots mentally linked with their vessels, their reactions enhanced by quantum processing, their strategies coordinated through an AI network that could analyze millions of combat scenarios per second. All ships, Battle Formation Delta, Sarah commanded through the neural network. The fleet moved as one, taking positions that would have been impossible for conventional vessels to maintain. In her command center, General Santos watched as humanity's defenders took their positions. The quantum shield network hummed with power, ready to protect Earth from any assault. The orbital defense platforms, hidden by quantum fields, tracked the approaching Valkyrie fleet. "They think they're coming to punish an upstart species," Santos said to her staff. "Instead, they're about to learn that humanity doesn't just adapt to survive. We adapt to win." The quantum sensors detected the Valkyrie ships dropping out of FTL drive. The scout fleet emerged into normal space, their massive vessels dwarfing Earth's defenders. But size wasn't everything, and humanity was about to prove it. "All units," Santos' voice carried across the quantum network, "execute Operation Firewall. Show them why you never underestimate the human spirit." The battle for Earth's future was about to begin, and humanity was ready to show the galaxy that the age of tribute worlds was over. First strike. The Valkyrie scout fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect attack formation, their massive ships casting long shadows across Earth's orbital space. Each vessel was a city-sized testament to their empire's power, covered in weapon emplacements and layered energy shields that had subjugated countless civilizations. Captain Exarth, commander of the scout fleet, observed the human defenders through his ship's quantum sensors. His mandibles clicked in amusement at the sight of Earth's seemingly small fleet. "Primitive designs," he commented to his bridge crew. "They haven't even properly developed standard shield harmonics." He straightened in his command chair. "Send the standard final warning. When they surrender, begin immediate resource extraction." The warning never reached Earth. Instead, the human fleet's quantum fields absorbed and dissolved the transmission as if it had never existed. In the Prometheus, Dr. Sarah Chen felt her ship's anticipation through their neural link. Around her, the rest of Earth's quantum fleet maintained their precise formation, each vessel's crystalline hull shimming with barely contained energy. "All ships reporting ready," she communicated through the neural network. "Quantum weapons charge. Phase shift drives synchronized." General Santos's voice resonated through the command network. "Remember your training. The Valkyrie expect us to fight conventionally. Let's show them how humanity wages war." The Valkyrie ships launched their first volley, a devastating barrage of plasma torpedoes and energy beams that had broken planetary defenses across the galaxy. Captain Exarth watched with satisfaction as the attack approached Earth's defenders. Then something impossible happened. The human ships didn't dodge. They didn't raise shields. Instead, their crystalline hulls began to pulse with an inner light. As the Valkyrie weapons struck, they simply disappeared. "Energy absorption complete," Sarah announced through the fleet network. "All ships showing power levels at 200% capacity. Initiating counter-strike protocol." The human fleet moved as one organism, their formation shifting in ways that defied conventional space combat tactics. The crystalline ships seemed to phase in and out of reality, their quantum drives allowing them to exist in multiple states simultaneously. "Impossible," Exarth breathed as his sensors tried and failed to lock onto the human vessels. "All ships, full power to weapons. Crush these primitives." But humanity had been preparing for this moment. Each human ship carried a quantum core that could process combat decisions faster than organic minds could comprehend. As the Valkyrie launched their second attack, Earth's defenders were already executing counters to strategies their enemies hadn't even conceived yet. "Operation Firewall, Phase 2, General Santos commanded. Show them what those absorbed energy weapons can do." The Prometheus led the charge, its crystalline hull reconfiguring to form new weapon arrays. The energy absorbed from the Valkyrie attack was channeled, enhanced by quantum processors, and returned with devastating precision. The first Valkyrie support ship never saw the attack coming. The quantum-enhanced beam bypassed its shields as if they didn't exist, the energy striking with surgical precision at the vessel's power core. The massive ship erupted in a cascade of secondary explosions. "Impossible," Exarth roared as his sensors registered the shield failure. Our defenses are impenetrable. All ships converge on the human flagship. But the human fleet had already shifted positions. The quantum-linked pilots, their minds merged with their ship's eyes, moved with impossible coordination. Each vessel seemed to predict the Valkyrie responses before they happened. Dr. Maya Patel's voice came through the command network from the forge. The quantum cores are performing beyond expectations. The ships are learning and adapting to Valkyrie attack patterns in real time. The space around Earth erupted in a dance of light and energy as two fundamentally different approaches to warfare clashed. The Valkyrie relied on overwhelming force and tried and true tactics that had served them for millennia. Humanity fought with innovation, adaptability, and technologies that rewrote the rules of combat. Inside the Prometheus, Sarah felt her ship's excitement through their neural link as they executed another impossible maneuver. The crystalline hull flowed like liquid metal, absorbing a direct hit from a Valkyrie capital ship and redirecting the energy into the quantum weapon systems. All ships, she commanded, execute pattern Omega. Let's show them what Earth's quantum drives can really do. The human fleet split into three groups, their formations seeming to defy physics as they phased through space in ways the Valkyrie sensors couldn't track. Each group targeted a different capital ship, their attacks synchronized through the quantum network. Captain Exarth watched in horror as his fleet's weapons proved useless against the human vessels. Worse, every attack they launched seemed to make the Earth ships stronger, their crystalline hulls absorbing and repurposing the energy. "This is impossible," he muttered as another support ship erupted in quantum fire. They were supposed to be primitives. They were supposed to submit. General Santos's voice cut through all communications channels, reaching even the Valkyrie ships. "This is Earth's response to your demand for tribute. We are not your subjects. We are not your resource world. We are humanity, and we choose freedom." The battle reached its climax as Earth's quantum fleet executed their final attack run. The crystalline ships moved in perfect synchronization, their quantum weapons powered by the very energy the Valkyrie had expended trying to destroy them. In the end, it wasn't even close. The Valkyrie scout fleet, with its millennium-old technology and rigid tactical doctrine, never stood a chance against humanity's quantum innovations and adaptive strategies. As the last Valkyrie capital ship retreated into hyperspace, its hull scarred by quantum fire, Sarah Chen allowed herself a moment of pride. Through her neural link, she could feel the collective satisfaction of Earth's defenders. "Scout fleet neutralized," she reported. 3 ships destroyed, 2 critically damaged, 1 retreating. No casualties on our side. In her command center, General Santos nodded grimly. "They'll be back," she said. "And next time, they'll bring their full fleet. But now they know, Earth isn't just another primitive world to be conquered. We're the civilization that will end their empire's reign of tribute and terror." The quantum fleet regrouped in Earth orbit, their crystalline hulls regenerating from what little damage they had sustained. Humanity had won its first space battle, but the real war was just beginning. The Valkyrie Empire would not take this humiliation lightly. But for the first time in their long history of conquest, the Valkyrie would face an enemy that didn't play by their rules, an enemy that could adapt, innovate, and turn their own strength against them. Humanity had chosen war over submission, and they had just proven they could win it. The Empire strikes. The quantum sensors detected them first. A massive disturbance in spacetime that made the previous scout fleet look like a mere patrol. The Valkyrie Empire had returned, and this time they had brought their full might to bear. In the deep shield facility beneath the Pacific, Commander Kai Nakamura watched as the quantum detection grid lit up like a Christmas tree. "Over 3,000 ships," he reported to General Santos. "Multiple super dreadnoughts. They're not here for tribute anymore. They're here for extermination." The Valkyrie fleet emerged from hyperspace in waves, their ships blocking out the stars as they approached Earth. At their center was the Imperial dreadnought Worldbreaker, a vessel larger than any human city, commanded by High Admiral Zextal himself. These humans dared to challenge the natural order, Zextal's voice boomed across all frequencies, not bothering with encryption. Their defiance ends today. No species has ever survived a full Imperial intervention. Begin the cleansing. In her command center, General Santos remained calm as she assessed the tactical displays. They think numbers alone will guarantee their victory. Activate Operation Hydra. Across the solar system, humanity's true defensive network awakened. The seemingly small fleet that had defeated the Scout Force was just the visible tip of the spear. Throughout the asteroid belt, and hidden in planetary orbits, quantum shipyards had been working nonstop since the first encounter. Dr. Marcus Okonjo's voice came through the quantum network from the forge. Activating all reserve units now. The new quantum cores are even more advanced than our first generation. From behind Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, hundreds of crystalline ships emerged from quantum fields that had concealed them. Each vessel incorporated lessons learned from the first battle, their neural cores evolving and adapting even as they moved into formation. Sarah Chen, now commanding the upgraded Prometheus, felt the difference through her neural link. The ship wasn't just responding to her thoughts, it was anticipating them, suggesting tactical options faster than human consciousness could process. All ships, she broadcast through the quantum network, execute dispersal pattern Delta. Remember your training. They may have numbers, but we have innovation. The human fleet split into smaller task forces, each targeting specific sectors of the Valkyrie Armada. But the Empire had learned from their previous defeat. Their ships launched a devastating barrage of new weapons, temporal disruptors designed to counter quantum technology. Energy signature analysis complete. Dr. Maya Patel reported from the forge. They've modified their weapons to operate on multiple temporal frequencies. Our original absorption strategy won't work. Then we adapt, General Santos replied. Initiate Protocol Omega. Show them why you never give humans time to prepare. The crystalline hulls of Earth's ships began to change, their quantum-engineered structures shifting into new configurations never before seen in space combat. The temporal disruptors struck, and found themselves caught in recursive loops created by the quantum fields. Impossible. High Admiral Zextal raged as his first wave's attacks were not just absorbed, but redirected back at his own fleet. All ships, full advance. We will crush them with pure force. But humanity had more surprises waiting. Commander Nakamura activated the Deep Shield network, and quantum energy fields sprang up around every planet in the solar system. The fields didn't just defend. They reached out, creating corridors of altered spacetime that human ships could use for instant tactical repositioning. They still don't understand, Marcus commented as he watched the battle unfold. They think technology is about achieving perfection and then stopping. They never considered that constant evolution could be a strategic advantage. The battle raged across the solar system. The Valkyrie's numerical superiority was fearsome, but their rigid tactical doctrine proved to be a weakness against humanity's quantum-enhanced combat systems. Human ships seemed to be everywhere and nowhere, striking from impossible angles and vanishing before retaliation could land. Sarah led her task force in a daring attack run on one of the Valkyrie super-dreadnoughts. The Prometheus and its squadron phased through space in ways that the Empire's sensors couldn't track, their quantum weapons targeting specific weaknesses in the massive vessel's design. Their shield harmonics are adapting, Sarah noted through the neural network, but their adaptations are predictable. They're pulling from a finite database of predetermined responses. Then let's give them something their database never imagined, General Santos ordered. All ships, execute Protocol Chimera. The human fleet's crystalline hulls began to pulse with new energy patterns. The quantum cores spun up to maximum power, and suddenly each ship split into multiple quantum states, existing in several places simultaneously. The Valkyrie fleet's targeting systems crashed as they tried to track targets that defied the laws of classical physics. Their ships, bound by traditional rules of space combat, found themselves fighting an enemy that could attack from multiple dimensions at once. High Admiral Zextal watched in growing horror as his supposedly invincible armada was slowly but surely being taken apart by an enemy that should have been primitive. "Bring the World Breaker into optimal firing position," he commanded. "We will destroy their entire planet if we must." But humanity had planned for this too. As the massive Imperial flagship moved to fire its planet-killing weapon, the Deep Shield network activated its final protocol. Quantum fields around Earth synchronized, creating a space-time barrier that even the Empire's strongest weapons couldn't penetrate. "You still don't understand what you're fighting," General Santos transmitted to the Imperial flagship. "Every attack you launch, every strategy you try, makes us stronger. Humanity doesn't just adapt to survive. We adapt to win." The World Breaker fired its main weapon, a beam of energy capable of shattering planets. It struck Earth's quantum shield and simply vanished. Moments later, the energy reappeared, split into thousands of smaller beams that struck precisely calculated weak points throughout the Valkyrie fleet. "This is beyond adaptation," Zextal realized too late. "They're not just copying our technology. They're reinventing the very rules of warfare." The battle reached its turning point as humanity's quantum fleet executed a synchronized attack that the Empire had never seen before. Thousands of ships, moving as one consciousness through the quantum network, struck from multiple dimensions simultaneously. The mighty World Breaker, pride of the Imperial fleet, found itself surrounded by quantum fire that bypassed its supposedly impenetrable defenses. Its hull, designed to withstand the forces of exploding suns, began to crack under weapons that operated on principles the Empire had never imagined. As their flagship began to fall, the Valkyrie fleet's rigid command structure began to crumble. Ships started retreating in disarray, their carefully planned formations breaking apart in the face of an enemy that fought like nothing they had encountered in their thousands of years of conquest. The Empire had come expecting to find another primitive world to subjugate. Instead, they had found humanity, a species that had turned their own arrogant warning into an opportunity to revolutionize warfare itself. Breaking chains. As the World Breaker's quantum core went critical, casting prismatic light across the solar system, High Admiral Zextal faced a truth that thousands of years of Imperial doctrine had never prepared him for: defeat. The pride of the Valkyrie Empire, their mightiest vessel, was being torn apart by weapons that shouldn't exist, wielded by a species that should have submitted. "All Imperial vessels," his voice trembled across the command network, "retreat to fallback coordinates. The humans—" He paused, mandibles clicking in disbelief. "The humans have weapons that can destroy us." But humanity wasn't finished. As the Valkyrie fleet began their desperate retreat, Dr. Sarah Chen and the Prometheus led their quantum fleet in one final maneuver. The crystalline ships moved in perfect synchronization, their neural cores linked in ways that transcended normal spacetime. "Target their hyperspace exit vectors," General Santos commanded. "Don't let them mourn the Empire. Today, we not only defend Earth, we take the fight to them." Through her neural link, Sarah felt the combined power of Earth's quantum fleet focus into a single purpose. The crystalline ships pulsed with energy absorbed from the Empire's own weapons, creating a quantum barrier that trapped the Valkyrie vessels in normal space. "You don't understand what you've done," Zextal broadcasted, his message tinged with fear. "The Empire will send more ships, more fleets. You cannot resist their full might." Dr. Marcus Okonjo's voice came through the quantum network from the forge. "Actually, we understand perfectly. Computer, decrypt and display the data we extracted from the World Breaker's quantum core." Holographic displays materialized across Earth's command centers, showing the true face of the Valkyrie Empire. Their mighty civilization, which had terrorized the galaxy for millennia, was built on a foundation of lies. Their technological superiority was a carefully maintained illusion, their actual innovation having stagnated centuries ago. "We found something interesting in your files," General Santos transmitted to the trapped Imperial fleet. "Coordinates and access codes for your tributary worlds. the ones you've been terrorizing for generations. Tell me, Admiral, what happens when they learn the truth? When they see that the mighty empire can be defeated? In the Deep Shield facility, Commander Kai Nakamura monitored quantum communications spreading across the galaxy. The battle data was being transmitted to every world in the Empire's database, proof that the unbeatable had been beaten. First responses coming in, he reported. The Centauri Collective, the Arcturus Alliance, the Proxima Federation. They're all rising up. The Empire's tributary worlds are declaring independence. Dr. Maya Patel's voice filled with excitement as she analyzed the incoming data. They're sharing their own technological innovations, ideas and developments they've been hiding from the Empire. Combined with our quantum technology, we can help them fight back. Sarah finished. She turned the Prometheus toward the remaining Imperial ships. Your choice, Admiral. Surrender and help us free your tributary worlds, or face the combined might of every civilization you've ever tried to subjugate. Through the quantum network, Earth's defenders could sense the moment the Imperial will broke. The Valkyrie ships, their mighty weapons powerless against human quantum technology, began powering down their systems. How? Zextal asked as he transmitted his surrender. How did you advance so quickly? Our analysis said you were primitive. General Santos smiled. That was your first mistake. You judged us by your standards, by what you thought was possible. Humanity has never cared much for other people's limitations. The aftermath of the battle brought changes that reshaped the galaxy. Earth's quantum technology, combined with innovations hidden by other species, created a new age of exploration and development. The tributary worlds, freed from imperial control, formed a galactic coalition based on mutual respect and shared knowledge. In the Forge, Marcus watched as the first joint human-alien research team began studying quantum core technology. You know what the Empire's biggest mistake was? He asked Maya as they observed the collaboration. They thought technology was about power, she replied. About maintaining control through force. Exactly. They never understood that true advancement comes from cooperation, from sharing ideas and building on each other's innovations. The Prometheus, now serving as a diplomatic vessel, carried Sarah Chen and representatives from Earth to meetings with newly liberated worlds. Through her quantum link, she could sense the ship's satisfaction at its new role, no longer just a weapon of war, but a symbol of unity and progress. In Geneva, General Santos stood before the United Earth Council, delivering her final report on the Valkyrie conflict. The Empire's fall has taught us all a valuable lesson, she concluded. It's not the size of your fleet that determines victory, nor the power of your weapons. It's the strength of your spirit, the power of your innovation, and the courage to stand up when others would kneel. The quantum network that had coordinated Earth's defense now connected 100 worlds, sharing knowledge and resources that the Empire had hoarded for millennia. New technologies emerged daily as species collaborated freely for the first time, each bringing their own unique perspectives and innovations. Commander Nakamura, monitoring the quantum communications from Deep Shield, smiled as another world joined the coalition. They wanted tribute, he mused. Instead, they gave us the galaxy. High above Earth, the crystalline ships of humanity's quantum fleet stood guard, their hulls shimmering with possibilities yet unexplored. They were no longer just defenders of Earth, but protectors of a new galactic order, one built on cooperation instead of conquest, on innovation instead of intimidation. The Valkyrie Empire had demanded tribute from a species they thought was primitive. Instead, they had awakened humanity's greatest strengths: the ability to adapt, to innovate, and to unite in the face of tyranny. Their demand for submission had led not just to their own defeat, but to a fundamental transformation of galactic civilization. And somewhere in the vast expanse of space, other empires and powers watched and learned an important lesson. Never underestimate a species that can turn a warning into a weapon, a threat into an opportunity, and a demand for tribute into a revolution that freed the galaxy. The age of empires was over. The age of innovation had begun.